In this video, I'm going to show you how to factor a quadratic trinomial when the a term is not equal to 1. So as a reminder, a quadratic trinomial is written in standard form as ax squared plus bx plus c, where a, b, and c are all coefficients. They're all numbers. And when we're going to factor a quadratic trinomial when the first term is not equal to 1, when we have something x squared, we're going to multiply our a times c term, list the factors of whatever a times c is, and then we're going to choose the factors that add to our b term, and then we're going to factor by grouping. So let's get right into an example. So for 7x squared plus 53x plus 28, the first thing that we want to do is check to make sure that there's no greatest common factor that we can factor out of all of those, 7, 53, and 28. 7 and 28 are both divisible by 7, but since 53 is not, we are going to multiply our a and our c term. 7 times 28 is 196, and some factors of 196 are, of course, 1 and 196, but that's not helpful since those don't add to 53. 196 divided by 2 would be 98, but those don't add to 53. 3 doesn't go into 196, but 4 does. 4 times 49 is 196, and those are the factors that I want to choose to factor this thing, because 4 plus 49 is equal to 53, our b term. So what I'm going to do is split up that b term into 49x plus 4x, and I'm going to keep the 7x squared out front and the 28 in the back. So I'm not changing the expression, I'm just changing the look of it. I'm decomposing or deconstructing the b term to be two terms. So now I'm going to group these 2 and 2. 7x squared plus 49x, well, the greatest common factor there is 7x. When I factor out a 7x, I'm left with x plus 7. And for x plus 28, the greatest common factor there is a positive 4, so I'm going to factor a positive 4 out. And when I do that, when I factor or kind of divide out, I'm left with x plus 7. Now I see that I have an x plus 7 in common from both of the terms, or both of the factorings. So x plus 7 is now our greatest common factor, and I have 7x plus 4 left over. And that is how we factor our quadratic trinomial there. So for the next one, 9x squared plus 66x plus 21, I can factor out a 3. 9, 66, and 21 all have a 3. So 9 divided by 3, of course, is 3, so I'm left with 3x squared plus 22x plus 7. 3, 22, and 7 do not have anything in common, so now I'm going to go back to multiplying my a and c term. So 3 times 7 is 21, and let's list our factors of 21. We have 1 and 21, and I'm going to stop there because 1 plus 21 is 22. So I've got my 3 out front. I'm going to keep 3x squared, but I'm going to split up this middle term, this b term of 22, into x plus 21x, and I'll keep the plus 7 in the back. If I break these into two groups, keeping my 3 out front, 3x squared plus x has the greatest common factor of x. When I factor that out, I'm left with 3x plus 1. 21x plus 7 has the greatest common factor of 7. And when I factor that out, I'm left with 3x plus 1. I need to keep that 3 out front. The greatest common factor now is 3x plus 1. We have that in common with an x plus 7 left over. And so those are my factors. All right, 2 more here. So 15x squared plus 27x minus 6. First thing I want to do is check for a greatest common factor. And there is one, and it is 3 again. So if I pull out a 3 or factor out a 3, I'm left with 5x squared minus 9x minus 2. 5, negative 9, and negative 2 do not have anything in common except for 1. So if I multiply my a times my c term, 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. Factors of negative 10 are 1 and 10, positive, negative. I'm just going to think about the positive versions here. But 1 minus 10 is negative 9. So I'm going to use 1 and 10, and where the 10 is negative. So I'm going to keep my 3 out front, keep my 5x squared, but negative 9x is going to turn into a negative 10x plus x. Negative 10x plus x, if I combined those, that would indeed be negative 9. And I'm going to have a negative 2 in the back. If I factor by grouping here, grouping those and grouping those, I want to keep my 3 out front. And then I have a greatest common factor of 5x for this first group, x minus 2 left over, plus x minus 2. Well, there's nothing in common except for 1, but I need to factor something out. I need to pull something out, so I will pull a positive 1 out, and I'm left with x minus 2. I'm going to keep that 3 out front. I see an x minus 2 in common, left over with a 5x plus 1. So those are my factors. And the last one here, 5, negative 18, and 9. There's nothing in common there. So I'm just going to start with multiplying my a and my c term. So 5 times positive 9 is 45. Some factors of 45. I've got 1 and 45, 2 and nothing, 3 and 15. Oh, 3 and 15 are special. Negative 3 times negative 15 is indeed positive 45, and negative 3 minus 15 is negative 18, which is our b term. So I want to use those. So I'm going to keep my 5x squared out front, split up my middle term, negative 15x minus 5x, and I'll keep my plus 9 in the back. Factor by grouping. 5x squared minus 15x, I've got a 5x in common there, that's the greatest common factor, with an x minus 3 left over. Negative 5x and 9, nothing in common, but I need to pull out something. Oh, there should be something in common. Negative 15x minus 3x, not a 5. Okay, now we have something in common. A negative 3, and I'm left with x minus 3. And so x minus 3 is the greatest common factor now, and we have 5x minus 3 left. And so those are my factors there. Let me know if you want to see any other examples below in the comments.